we look at a very important story that is just trending in Nigeria and also across the world, the threat by Donald Trump to invade Nigeria if the killings all across the country is not checked by the government. But our focus on this key topic today is the economic implication on Nigeria. What are the likely economic implications? Only yesterday, we saw that the Nigerian asset tumble as well. A lot happened, the Nigerian Eurobond, the Naira, and of course the stock exchange all, taking a bite from the consequences of that threat from Donald Trump. They, of course, being designated as the country of particular concern, and a threat of that military invasion by Donald Trump against Nigeria is gradually unsettling many of Nigerian assets, and of course investors are beginning to reprice their assets in Naira, and of course that is indeed a major threat to the economy. We also see Naira depreciating by 1% yesterday, a very huge one. That is the highest since June that we are actually experiencing this huge decline in the value of Naira. Of course, what are the potential economic implications of this threat? Number one, there's concerns about increased borrowing costs and investor risk. There's potential sanctions which could affect foreign investors' confidence from coming into Nigeria. The suspension of aid and security assistance. Of course, a lot of people are saying Nigerians should begin to look inward and stop relying on foreign donors for aid. Trade disruptions. Of course, Nigeria is part of the global community. Countries that will trade with Nigeria will now become cautious. Currency and market volatility. Of course, the Naira may continue to depreciate further because the dollar supply may be limited, and of course the impacts on development project and as well as jobs as well, because some foreign companies that are operating here may just have to laid off some of their staff that actually work for them, and some aid companies too may just leave, and Nigerians who work for them may be out of job. Let's discuss this more now and put some context into this. I'm being joined from London by Dr. Sam Omale, who is the president and CEO Rock Global Investment Network. He joins me virtually from London. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well. And also from Lagos, Muktar Mohammed is the CEO of Finance with Muktar. He joins me virtually from Lagos as well. Good morning, Muktar.
Good morning, Yusuf. My pleasure.
All right. Let me start with you, Muktar. Give us your takes about the economic implication of this Donald Trump threat. As you know, Nigeria is an ally of the United States. What does it mean for our economy?
First, it's not good news for our economy, like you pointed out during your introductions. If you see those violations, especially our assets in Naira tumbled yesterday, you talked about the exchange also taking a bite from the Donald Trump utterances. And then you look at some of those things that you mentioned during your introduction. Naira also that have been strong has lost its momentum yesterday. You also talked about foreign portfolio investors and confident in the Nigerian market becoming a very high risk market. But I agree with all these points that you've brought in, but I just feel that it's to the extreme that we are looking at it now. I don't think it has come to that point where we see those investors, those companies, those retrenchment because just of an utterances that even if what he said, there are killings in Nigeria, but what everybody have understood and what everybody is saying is the killings has not been one-sided. It has been affecting both sides of the device. It's affecting whether Christian, whether Muslim, whether Buddhist, whether atheists, whether traditional rulers, traditional worshippers. It has been affecting virtually everybody. So that is one. That's why I'm not impressed with the way the presidency have handled it, because it seems to be like fire for fire. Then some executive governor, like the governor of Anambra State, have not spoken with maturity in terms of handling issues like this, because diplomatic channels is the best channels to channel such issues and resolve it diplomatically. And we need America more than they need us. That's the truth. And again, we mustn't forget that one man that has helped Nigeria fight terrorism is actually Donald Trump, because when in his first time in office, he was the man that released the fighter jets that Barack Obama refused to sell for us due to what he said was a human rights abuse. But Donald Trump came in, then he allowed Nigerians to have access to that jet, and that was one of those game changer when we started obtaining the turn in terms of terrorism. So you can't say he's not a man that I've just been saying it because he wants to say it, but he has been a man that I'm against extremists. And if you look at that his post, he's talking about extremists being taking advantage and killing people. And he's saying, I will go after the extremists, not after the ordinary Nigerians. I think we need to sit down, we need to look at it in context rather than shouting how sovereign we are. I was excited with the way the former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Kwankwaso, also spoke out, and what he said also was talking from a point of statesmanship, where he said Americans should be thinking how they should help Nigeria overcome the fight on terrorism. And same instead of what Soludo said, that Nigeria would have invited America if we wanted to support the Black Lives Matters. I mean, we shouldn't be political leaders should not be talking like those that are reading newspaper by the roadside. So I think we need to wake up. It's a wake up call to deal with the current insecurity that we have in the country. So, but economically, like you have pointed out, that we have not gotten to that extreme. But if we don't handle it very well, almost everything that you just pointed out will become a norm.
Indeed. We need to handle this diplomatic tension properly, unless, if not, the economic issue may even be worse than we expect coming from Muktar there. Let me talk to Dr. Sam. Dr. Sam, let me get your take. You are based in London, and of course, what's the reaction there? What are the people saying with regards to this designation of Nigeria as a country of concern? And of course, what is the economic implication? Someone like you is, you are a business person who know what it takes for investors to come into a particular country. Hello, Dr. Sam, are you with me? Hello, Dr. Sam, can you hear me? Okay, Muktar, if you can hear me, I was asking about the consequences. Do you think the foreign investors, those that we have now in the country, may likely begin to withdraw their investments?
You say, what you should ask yourself is, how many foreign investors do you really have in the country now? Because you're looking at foreign investors, you're looking at that withdrawal will cause a lot of issues. Then you look at foreign direct investors rather than foreign portfolio investors. Foreign portfolio investors are always short-term players, and I think they are still they are even planning to come in because they still see a lot of opportunity in the Nigerian economy, and most of them are coming in with USD, which is dollar, and so that's why such talk by Donald Trump can also change the tide. But in to begin to invest in Nigeria. So if we are not able to handle this issue, then most of those promises will will not be fulfilled by most of these investors. So definitely, yes, there will be an impact when you know that Nigeria and the diaspora, the highest remittance always come from the United States of America, and also one of our greatest partner in terms of trade is also the United States of America. So we need to do something fast. Dangote oil is selling more. Dangote refined petroleum product PMS is selling more in America than even in West African region, and it also depends on import of crude oil from America. So you can see that these are very critical sector in the Nigeria economy. So we need to have those dialogue. We need it. Basically, those dialogue are what will be the game changer, and how we approach this dialogue, dialogue rather than the what we are seeing now, when it seems to be, oh, you give fire for fire, we fire us, we fire you. I don't think that will help us. Like I said, we need America more than America needs us at this current stage that we are. We shouldn't deceive ourselves. We need their input in the fight of terrorism. We need their input to grow our economy. We need their input to dictate our. We still need American aid to come into this country, because the level of poverty keep getting worse by the day. So I think we should tread cautiously. We should also be able to talk to the using diplomatic channels to address this issue. One thing I'm excited about is outside the president aides and some governors talking, you've not seen the Minister of Foreign Affairs make any statement. I mean, for me, that's very good. That shows that the minister is working behind the scene to see that issues like this are resolved diplomatically, compared to if he's shouting at the top of his voice like other people are doing.
Well, let's take a very short break. Muktar, hold your thought there. After this break, the conversation continue. Don't go away.
Thank you. Okay.
Glad to have you back. It's the Business Daily right here on Trust Television, and I have my guest still on the show, Muktar Mohammed, CEO of Finance with Muktar, and of course, Dr. Sam Omale, President, CEO, Rock Global Investment Network, joining us all the way from London there. Before we went on that break, Muktar, we were talking about issues around foreign investment. But one thing again that is also important is the aid. Nigeria depend largely on foreign aid to finance some aspects of our economy. Do you think if this tension is not well managed, will it affect the cost of borrowing and, of course, the debt servicing?
When you talk about foreign aid, you have to ask. How many of those foreign aids have we been receiving thus far from the United States? Remember that some of these institutions that we used to receive aid from has also been either been dismantled by the current administration of Donald Trump. So in terms of aid, we can't say that we've really been receiving aid from the United States. And again, but then you can't say there are no aid, because you also look at aid from donor agencies that comes out from the United States of America, especially if they fight against polio, they fight against malaria and other health issues that they are still supporting us. So that is what I think the issues will do. But again, when things like this happen, also it's an avenue for you to think inwardly on how to resolve your own issues. So I also think, yes, AIDS will be affected, but that could also be game changer, because you ask yourself, how many of these AIDS really find their into the hands of those that are really needed, not hijacked by the political class for political gain. So yes, it will be affected, but how much of that will really be affected? Because when you talk about, if you talk about economic sanction, that's where we should be worried. If you decide to put economic sanction on our oil and gas sector, then that is a big worry for us. But if it is suspension of it, then it also we could be able to handle it. But again, if it's suspension of military assistance, also that's a big problem, especially with the fight against terrorism, banditry, and all that. So that's why I think we need them more. We need to relate with them. Like I said, he was the only American president that agreed to sell fighter jets to Nigeria at the time that Boko Haram seems to be having heads over us. And we have been able to use that to turn the tide And so it's somebody that we should really have a dialogue with, because, like I said, Barack Obama refused to sell those fighter jets for us. But when he came in, he did so, sell it to us to fight terrorism. So I think he's also been an advocate of fight against terrorism in any part of the world. Remember, his dismantle of ISIS in Syria also. So that's why I think we should dialogue with him. This could be a game changer to end this fight against terrorism and banditry.
All right. Let me bring in Dr. Sam now. Dr. Sam, like I was asking earlier before the network issue crept in, you based in London, and of course, you interact with the Westerners. Talk to us. What are the people saying with regard to this designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern? Okay, I'm saying that what are the people there saying with regards to this designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern, considering the fact that the UK is also a very strong ally of Nigeria?
Well, it's not a matter of what these people are saying here. Once America takes a decision, all American allies will follow suit. So America is the one that gives a lead and direction. A country that is designated as country of particular concern automatically raises red flags, and all of American allies will follow what America thinks. Defy America, for example, if they do a trade barrier that Nigeria should not be exporting its crude oil, no country will be able to buy from America. I mean, from Nigeria. If you do, America will sanction them. So it's a very big problem. So all of Europe, all major allies of America in the Middle East anywhere will follow what America says. So it's a very disruptive thing to our economy, definitely.
All right. Another key issue in terms of the effect of these threats on the economy is the fact that Nigeria, largely, we borrow a whole lot. We depend on debt, foreign debt to finance a whole lot of infrastructure development. Given this kind of threats now that we're seeing, what do you think will happen? The cost of borrowing, is this something that is likely to go up, or even having access to borrow, is this something that may eventually become difficult for Nigeria if this tension is not quickly addressed as quickly as possible?
Yeah, the best scenario is that they'll give us loan, but at a very, very high interest rate, because they'll factor in the issues that have been raised. So it will be on a very, very, very high interest rate that will not be affordable. But at worst, they will not even touch us anymore, because because if a creditor wants to give out loan, they are looking at your capacity to pay back. Now, if Nigeria's economic activities are crippled, how are they going to pay back? So they will not come near us at all. So it's a big problem. So loans will dry up, definitely. And if at all it trickles in, it will be at a very, very, very high cost.
Doc, another thing that we saw yesterday on the trading floor of the Nigeria Stock Exchange is the fact that some investors are beginning to reprice the asset, especially the one in Naira, given the fact that, given the uncertainty and the likely volatility that may hit the market. What implication do you think this is also going to have on that segment of the economy? Seems to be having network challenges with a doctor there. Well, let me bring in Muktar. Muktar, there's another leg of this. There are a lot of argument there on the streets. Some are saying America doesn't just go into war and go into any country because they love the people of that country or because they love that country. They go in because of their own particular interests. Some are saying they are probably looking at our oil or some of our earth mineral resources. What is your reaction to that?
Well, what I don't have fact about, I don't talk about. What you should know, America have economic interests here in Nigeria. Some American companies are here in Nigeria, so that already is an economic interest. Nigeria is one of the trading partner of America. That also is an economic interest. Don't forget that the largest America embassy outside of the largest American embassy building will be built here in Nigeria by the American embassy in Eco Atlantic. That is also telling you they have strong interest in Nigeria. So they have economic interest in it. That will be the largest embassy in the world that America will ever build. So it tells you that their interests are still here. Don't forget that a threat to an insecurity threat in Nigeria is a security threat to the whole of Africa. And that also America also will be looking at it, that if we allow this to continue and this country, Nigeria, happen to fall into some of these challenges, it will be very, very difficult for Nigeria to be able to, the continent itself, to be able to handle it, and in turn it will also go to the war. So I think they are looking at those larger pictures. So we shouldn't think about the economic implication is there already, because again, like you rightly pointed out, they're interested. Their businesses are here. American companies, American oil companies are here in Nigeria. They are doing businesses, and they are still planning to do more businesses with us. So saying, oh, because of earth resources and that, and when you listen to that, also you also have to know that some of the it will be good, because some of the banditry that we are seeing in the north, especially in states like Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, is all because of these earth materials. And if they say they are coming in to help us so that we begin to earn revenue from those earth materials, so be it. That's my take. That's why I still think that it's all about cooperation with them. It's all about saying the truth. The only part of all what have happened that I don't agree with is calling it like a Christian genocide. I don't think that's the right word, because both sides are being affected. We're having insecurity in the southeast. How many Muslims are in the southeast? We're having insecurity in some of these Muslim dominated area like Kebbi, like Sokoto, like Zamfara, like Katsina. These are all a hotbed of most of these terrorists. Then you can look at the Christian side. You could say that state like Jos, Plateau State. You look at Niger State. You look at also also Nasarawa State and Benue State. But when you go into this state critically, you realize that is different state have different peculiarity. If you look at Niger State, most of the people that have been attacked are mostly the Muslim from the area of Kontogora down to these other areas that have been clearly taken up. If you look at Kaduna too, if you look at Kaduna State, outside people of attack in southern Kaduna, you realize the banditry headquarters is in Beningwari, which is predominantly a Muslim area, and that's so you can't just say these things are just towards one religion. We know that there have been issues that have to deal with Christians being killed in states like Plateau and southern Kaduna area, and also in Benue State, and also part of Nasarawa. But we can't say that doesn't happen also. Remember the girls that were killed, they were kidnapped in Yobe. This was a Muslim dominated area. There was only one Christian, but up till now we have not seen her yet. That could also be a pointer that Christians are being persecuted. But don't forget that that's a Muslim dominated area. A lot of children were killed in the government secondary school attack. At a point, about 40 students were killed, and all these students were Muslims. So we shouldn't say, okay, this issue is just all about one religion. That's where I have a problem. But we have both all been affected. Both Muslim, both Christian, both pagan, both traditionalists, everybody is being affected. But what Nigerians should do is to let them know, and let them know that we need your support, we need your help. We shouldn't just sit down there and say we'll be able to handle it, we don't need them, we are a sovereign nation. No nation is an island of itself. We need their support. This is an opportunity for us to tell the Americans that you can join us in the fight against these bandits.
Indeed. Of course, this is more like a wake-up call to the Nigerian government. Is it even the number one responsibility of every government is the protection of life and property? But given what the government has done so far, well, the government is trying its best, but it doesn't seem that their best is good enough. Let's hope that this call now by Donald Trump now will actually, serve as a wake-up call to the federal government to do what is needful to protect all lives. All lives matters. But let's look at it, Mr. Muktar. Can we say that Donald Trump is using the Christian genocide as a bait to come in and, of course, protect the American businesses?
All these are insinuations, so we'll wait to see. But like I said, Americans always protect their businesses wherever they know they are doing business. Like you said, if you look at the antecedent of President Trump, he doesn't just go to war for war's sake. He goes to war for economic benefit of his country. So that also could be there. But like I said, it will not be that they are taking it out of the country illegally like what we are seeing. If it will add value and create employment for our Nigerians and prove prosperity for our table of our youth and our country, so be it. We are a sovereign nation, but no sovereign nation is an island of itself. So for me, I think I totally do agree with what you said about that they are trying to protect the American businesses. Americans don't just go to war just for war's sake. We agree that. But again, in doing that, we also should know that it's also to our benefit. If these businesses are shut down, like you pointed out in your report, and leave the shore of this country, a lot of Nigerians that are employed by these businesses also will be affected. Don't forget that Nigeria in the diaspora, just this morning, the federal government is targeting about 20 billion inflow from the diaspora. And 90% of those inflow let me not say 90%, 70% of those inflow are going to be coming from the United States of America. So that is why there is interest in Nigeria. And we also have to know that they are interested in us, whether economically, whether security. But what I have told you, a security threat in Nigeria is a security threat to all nations in Africa. That could be the big picture that President Trump is looking at.
Indeed, that's a big picture that Trump is looking at. And another big picture, again, is Nigeria romance with BRICS countries. Of course, the like of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and of course, South Africa. Nigeria seems to be having a very good relationship with some of these countries there.
Yusuf, let me cut in there. I so don't think those are a problem, because Americans still have business with these countries. India is one of their biggest business partners. They are still having those discussions with India in terms of even tariff for Indian businesses. They are still having discussion with Brazil. So we shouldn't look at it that way. Yes, with South Africa, they have their issues. Their issue has to do with marginalization of the white South African. Like that's what they think. But when you look at all these so-called BRICS nations, you can't see that America is no more doing business with them. Let's not think like that.
Well, we have China, we have India, their footprint in Nigeria, and of course, by extension, Africa is very visible. It does seem that we enjoy the handshakes more than the way we enjoy the handshake with the Americans.
Well, yes, you can say that. But again, don't forget that the American government just had a trade deal with China. China is also America's biggest partner. So we should, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we shouldn't say that it's because of we are in BRICS nation. That's why they are not doing business with us. They want to keep us aside. No, I'm not trying to say that the BRICS nation, America is doing business with the BRICS nation, even reducing tariff for them. Canada is not a BRICS nation, but they are having issue in terms of trade issue with America, even if they all belong to the same North African alignment group. Mexico, the same thing. So I don't think we should think like that. That's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't mean because we are a member of the BRICS nation, that's why they are going after us. No, you know my point about the BRICS nation. All these BRICS nations have all their holding, all their foreign reserve in dollars. So all this talk about BRICS nation for me is just a jamboree.
Indeed. Doesn't really hold water, like you said. Well, Muktar, let's talk about the Nigerian stock market and how it has fared so far in 2025. We're already in November. Of course, we have over a month to go to end the year. What is your expectation? Though the market has done well so far, we see investors raking in so much in terms of returns. Talk to us about the market performance so far.
The market performance has been very positive, Yusuf. Like we said, one economic policy that have seen impact. I mean, or will I say an economic area where the impact of the tinubu economic policy is in the equity market. We've seen that policy having a very positive impact on the equity market. We are doing about 49, almost 50%. And this, again, the exciting thing about it is not driven by new listing. It's actually driven by price appreciation. So that, for me, shows that there's still a lot of value in the Nigerian market. Before now, we're thinking we get to this mark with the listing of Dangote refinery. That was our thinking. But today, you can see how price appreciation have brought us to where we are. So fundamentally, the fundamentals of these companies are still very strong. Yusuf, you've seen it in companies like third quarter result, half year result have been very, very positive, especially for companies that were doing very bad the advance of this administration economic policy in terms of FX losses. We've seen huge recovery from the consumer goods sector, from the ICT sector, especially the telecom companies. We have seen Airtel Africa, we have seen MTN Nigeria, we have seen how much they have recovered. We have seen the consumer goods sector, we have seen Boa Cement, we have seen Dangote Cement, we have seen Nestle Food, we have seen PZ, we have seen Cadbury. You can go on and on. The recovery has been very huge, and now you are beginning to see FX gains from FX losses. Nigerian Brewery, Guinness Nigeria, International Brewery. So that tells you that a lot of the economic policy are beginning to have impact on the companies. And once the impacts are steady in the company and the company are able to expand, we begin to see the impact on the ordinary Nigeria. So for me, I think the Nigerian exchange has been one of the biggest story of since the advance of President Tinubu. You talk about the banking sector. You've seen how much these companies, the banks have been able to draw recapitalization. Some of those recapitalization drive from the banks is what is responsible for the exchange rate that we are seeing today, because a lot of these banks attracted a lot of foreign inflow in investing in their shares. So it all has been a very, very good and bullish year for the Nigerian exchange. Even if today it is, they said, okay, the exchange has, we don't even make any profit again, and we end the year at almost 50%. I think that's a very big success story, especially driven that this 50% growth in the All-Share Index is driven by price appreciation.
Indeed. Mr. Muktar, just in 30 seconds before we go, the market closed negative yesterday, 0.25%. The investor losing about, 247 billion naira. What is your expectation today? You expect a rebound?
I don't expect any rebound. What we've seen is that a lot of companies have been pricing even before their third quarter results came in. So what you are seeing now, investors are seeing good entry and good exit prices. And so we'll continue to see that happen before you see an investor seeing some of these price as a premium, and that will be where they will want to stay. So for now, we'll continue to see the ups and the down. Whether recovery will be gradual. You also don't forget, Yusuf, that November is always a slow month in the exchange, and then you begin to see activity picked up in December, January, February, until March, when these final year results are being released to the market.
All right. Muktar Mohammed, CEO Finance with Muktar, thank you for your time on Business Daily. We appreciate your contributions.
Thank you for having me, Yusuf. Thank you.
All right. With that is a wrap on the show today. We'll be back again tomorrow. I am Yusuf Akogu.